Hello, rollers. Hello, friends. Colin here with an update. Not necessarily what you might have been expecting, but nonetheless important. We have been working behind the scenes here at the Roll Report on several things and thought it was time to tell you all what's going on. The first thing that we want to say is our campaign is going to keep on its hiatus. It is going to be interrupted for a little while, and we're hoping and looking for ways to bring it back in the future. This is a number of factors have gone into this decision, and it is not one that we make lightly, but unfortunately it is one that is probably the best for us and for the long-term sustainability of the podcast. So no more campaign for at least a little while. We are going to try to keep doing our Dungeons and Flagons live events and special episodes and bringing you other actual play in that fashion. So if the campaign's going away for a little while, what does that mean? Number one, new content. We are planning and scripting and writing and doing all the things and lining up guests, and there will be some new stuff. I'm not going to tell you exactly what it is, partly because we're not sure and partly because I think people like some level of surprise. What we can say is that Classing Up the Joint will continue. We are going to keep trying to talk to all the people that we look up to and find really fascinating and interesting within D&D and the larger TTRPG space. And we are going to keep bringing those because those people are awesome and we love hearing about their work and hearing what their favorite classes are, of course. We are also planning a special series of Classing Up the Joint, specifically looking at the new 2024 rule set. We are hopefully going to bring in some previous guests and look back at their favorite classes, comparing the 2014 and 2024 versions directly. Just to see which one is better. And, give wizards a little bit more grief about how badly they're messing up some of the classes or how great they're doing with some of it. We hope. We'll see. We are also going to try some other stuff that is going to come around, but those things are definitely happening. Another change that is happening, another thing that will be happening with the campaign going away, we are changing the way that we're running both Classing Up the Joint and our Patreon. Firstly, Patreon can now be as low as $1 a month. If you like anything about what we're doing and you want to support the show, you can do it for just $1 a month. That would be so cool, and we would be really super grateful if you did that. And as the other change, anyone who supports us on Patreon at any level of support can submit a list of questions for all of our special guests on Classing Up the Joint. Those questions will be answered in a rapid-fire special segment that will only be available to our supporters on Patreon. We want to give every one of our supporters a little more of a direct thank you, and we thought letting you ask specific questions of our guests would be a great way to do that, as well as offering just $1 a month of support. So now going forward, all of our interview shows, all of our Classing Up the Joint, the entirety of the interview will be available to everyone, and those of you that support us on Patreon will get a special bonus Q&A segment where you can submit questions and our wonderful guests will answer them. Starting with, I am going to give you a special preview. We are going to have an amazing guest come on the show, Sebastian Yue. Sebastian is a TTRPG designer, writer, and editor, has written and edited so many games and amazing segments. They are a full-time employee at Hit Point Press, recently changed to their community manager. They are the lead editor of the upcoming Cosmere RPG. That's the Stormlight Archive RPG if you haven't been following along with the updates, the really cool Brandon Sanderson Universe RPG. Sebastian is the lead editor. They are also the designer and writer of Hit Point Press's Field Guide to Floral Dragons. They have so many things upcoming in the pipeline that I'm only going to mention two of them that I find extra cool. Number one, their contributions to an expanded Tangled Blessings, the wonderful 2-player game by Cassie Mothwin that I got to play on Roll for Felicity recently. And Subclasses Revivified, bringing all the subclasses left behind by the 2024 rules to a D&D game near you. We are so thrilled to have Sebastian with us and so excited to hear all of your questions for them. So remember, anyone contributing to our Patreon at just $1 a month or more can submit questions that only you, only our Patreon supporters, will hear the answers. That's our update. That's it. Not so many things, really. But to sum up extra quickly, campaign is going away for a little while, a little bit longer, and we're going to bring you new content. The interviews will continue, new stuff will happen, we're going to do some special 2024 rules examinations, and last but not least, our Patreon can now be supported as low as $1 a month, and everyone who supports us can submit a question for our interview guests, and only our supporters will hear the answers to those questions. That's what's going on here at the Roll Report. We're going to be back next week, October 9th, with our next interview, our next Classing Up the Joint, and keep those going while we sort out everything else that's happening. I want to thank all of our listeners and supporters so much. It has meant such a great deal to all of us at the Roll Report for the last year having your support. I'm gonna name all of you that are supporting us on Patreon because you deserve our recognition. Thank you so much. Mike Myler, Nick Silva, Jennifer Wright, Eric Jacobson, Olivia Renee, Sugar Lion, Bob Epstein, Amanda Millette, Lucy, Tanya Abdul, and Humphrey Bubbles. Thank you so much, and thank you everyone else. If you want your name on that list, it can be for as little as $1 a month, and you will get a special Classing Up the Joint segment with every interview guest answering your questions. Happy rolling, and see you next week.